What's up YouTube, Dale here from Zephyr, and today I am bringing you the highest voted Genesys profile from last week's poll. Today is the turn of Black Rose Dragon. Now this is going to be in Genesys format and it comes in at a cool 86 points. Now this does give you a bit of space for flexibility. If you're like, actually I want to have Drow and Lockbird in the deck, or I want to be able to try Fuvalos in the deck, you have that option to do so depending on what you have available for you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through main, extra, and of course side deck with all of the Genesys profiles, so you know exactly what points total you are working with and how much flexible upgrade spaces you have. So with all of that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more upcoming content. Starting off with our first Rose Dragon, and probably our best Rose Dragon overall, is Free Rocks Rose Dragon. Now, as a preview on this one, the most points that you're going to be utilizing in this deck is going to be in Glart Bulb and then the Adventure Package, but that's entirely up to you if you wish to use the Adventure Package or not. You can change it out and you'd be looking at more like the Generate cards and then Lone Fire Blossom, rather than the 8 cards in the Adventure Package that we're using, but that is entirely up to you. Now, the benefit of Rocks Rose Dragon in comparison is that this one will get you in a benefit if you are going to be normal summon it or special summon it. So if you see the Adventure Package, you're probably not going to want to normal summon this card, but if you don't see the Adventure Package, you normal summon this card. On normal or special, you get to add a card that mentions Black Rose Dragon. So the card you're going to want to be going for is going to be your Black Rose Garden, because this card on activation lets you add any Rose Dragon monster from the deck or grave. Now, if you already have Black Rose Garden and you want another target to search, well, the other target you can search off of the back of your Rocks Rose can be your Basil Rose Shoot. This lets you special on a Rose Dragon monster from the hand or grave in defense vision. And if this set card is destroyed, you get to target one of your Black Rose Dragons or a monster that lists it in this card's text that is banished during the graveyard and special summon it. So it's just a nice revival or extension card should you need to, because you already have Black Rose Garden. The other added benefits of Black Rose Garden is that all of the monsters on the field become plant type, and if this is destroyed specifically via Black Rose Dragon's card effect, you do 2,400 damage to your opponent. But if it's just destroyed in general, you also inflict 100 damage to your opponent for each plant monster in your graveyard. The other Rose Dragon monster we are playing is Free Red Rose. Now, the reason we're maxing out on this one is because of the Adventure Package, as this is like your ideal normal summon when you're using that package. Now, what we mean by that is, with the Adventure token, it's a level 4 non-tuner, and your Red Rose is a level 3 tuner. So what you'd be doing is you'd go through the Adventure Package, you normal summon down the Red Rose, because with the Adventure Package, you can't activate monster effects unless they are special summoned, and then you synchro off into a Black Rose Dragon or a Moonlight Dragon if you don't want to be destroying your whole field. Regardless, as long as this is sent to the graveyard for the synchro summon of a Black Rose Dragon or a plant synchro, you get to add a Frozen Rose or Blooming of the Darkest Rose from the deck to the hand. So the benefit of something like that is you get direct access to Frozen Rose. This lets you send a face-up monster you control to the graveyard to apply the following effects. If it is a plant, during the end phase you draw 2 cards and discard 1 card. If it was not a plant, you get to add level 4 or lower plant monster from the deck to the hand. And again, there are ways, if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, or you control no monsters or anything else like that, you can extend it to your field. The final Rose Dragon monster we are playing is the one White Rose Dragon. So when this card specifically is normal summon, so it's not ideal with the Adventure Package, you get to special summon a Rose monster from the hand or grave. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. If you control a Dragon Tuner or a Plant Tuner, you get to special summon this card from the hand. And if it's integrated as synchro material, you send a level 4 or higher plant from the deck to the grave. And there are ways that you can start utilizing some of your other plant monsters that can start to revive themselves from the grave, or just other cards that if they are sent to the graveyard, like the Vengeful Witch, you'll be able to get more advantage off of the back of it. So, 3 Vengeful Witches. If you control Black Rose Dragon or a monster that mentions it, or a plant synchro monster, you get to special summon this card from the hand. If this card is sent to the graveyard and a synchro monster is on the field, you discard 1 card to special summon a plant monster with 15 or less defense from the deck. You can't special summon from the extra deck for the rest of the turn except synchros, which all of your extra deck is synchros. So the card that this will summon out will be your Twilight Rose Black Knight, because while you control a synchro plant monster, you control gains. While you control a synchro monster, plant monsters you control gain 1,000 attack, so it makes them a lot stronger. And Black Rose Garden makes everything plants, so you're just making your monsters stronger. And then you get to use the only effects once per turn. If it is normal or special, benefit on being specialed, you get to special on a Black Rose or a level 4 or lower plant monster from the grave, but you negate its effects. Target 1 other plant monster you control, increase or decrease its level by 1. So it helps you get into synchro level 8s if you want to, or different levels should you want to adapt it. But again, this is going to get you into another level 7 synchro. And remember, Bramble Rose is a level 7. Then for the plant monsters, we're on Free Rose Princess. So if only your opponent controls a monster, you get to special summon this card from the hand. And if summoned this way, you can treat it as a tuner. You can only special summon it once per turn. You can discard this card and add a white rose cluster from the deck to the hand, which we are playing just a single copy of. So you control no monsters, you get special on a rose dragon monster or a plant monster from the hand. You can only use each effect once per turn. During your draw phase, before you draw, you get to declare a card type, monster, spell, or trap. Reveal the top card of your deck, and if it is the declared card type, you apply the effects for the rest of the turn, even if the card leaves the field. Level 7 or higher synchro monsters can gain 1,000 attack, so if you're comboing this off with Twilight Rose, they can become even stronger. Then for the other plant monster we're playing is the one World Carrot Weight Champion. So if this card is in the graveyard, you get to send a plant type monster from the hand or face up field to the grave to special summon it. It just gives you access to a non-tuner level 4. One Glow Bulb. This is actually quite costly at 21 points. As an alternative, you could cut it and just focus solely on Spore. But the idea behind these cards are these are cards you're going to want to send from the deck to the grave with your Rage Rose Witch. And in doing so, that then gives you the ability to extend. And one of the best cards you can go to, which again is 0 points, is going to be Crystal Wing. So Spore is if it's in the grave, you get to banish one other plant type monster from the grave to special summon this card from the grave and increase its level by the level of that monster banished. Each player can only activate the effect of Spore once per duel. And Glow Up Bulb, you get to send the top card of your deck to the graveyard to special summon this card back, and each player can only use the effect once per duel. So the other is Spore is a level 1 tuner that can adapt its level, and the Glow Up Bulb is a level 1 tuner, so you get different ways of adapting. For the final plant monsters, we're playing the one Rose Girl and the one Dark Rose Fairy. Now, if you're not playing the adventure package, you can of course use Ruddy Rose and the other Rose witches that follow, and use, I think it's Fairy Rose or Rose Fairy, which is the one card I don't own, which is really crazy. I probably really should be picking one of them up. But the idea is that that's just another monster that you can get as a special summon extension. Got the one Black Garden, and then backed up by the adventure package of 3 Enchantress, 1 Griffin, 20 points, slightly spenny, 5 points each on the Water Enchantress, and then 5 points each on the Rights, but it does give you that ability for that Omni Negate, which can be very, very useful. 1 Fateful Adventure, and then 1 Draco backed up by the final 3 Revolution Synchro. Like 0 points, and you want to be going into level 7 dragons. Yes, of course, you can't go into Bramble, because Bramble's a plant, but you can go into a Black Rose Dragon, completely nuke the field, and then start again. You can also go into Black Rose Moonlight, and you can also go into a Cully Belt if you don't want to destroy the entire field, but you still want to take out one of your opponent's cards. Then the final card in the main deck is 3 DD Crow. You can sub these out. Like if you'd rather Dark Rule No More be in the main deck, you can focus on that one instead if you wanted to. It's just one of those 0 point hand traps. And this is one of those examples where you have 14 more points to play around with. So if you wanted to update the deck, or if you wanted to add different hand traps in instead of DD Crow and relegate the DD Crow to the side deck, you can do. And that will then unlock the ability to play maybe not so much Ash Blossom, because you won't even get 1 Ash Blossom in this. But you can get like 2 DD Crows, which I think was really annoying, is I was missing like 1 point to put 3 DD Crows in the side deck. Sorry, not DD Crows. Draw Lot Birds in the side deck of the main deck. So you can find that lack of point. If you can get rid of a point, then you're good to roll. Moving on to the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we are playing 2 Bramble Rose Dragon. Absolutely love this card. So it requires a plant tuner. And if each time your opponent activates a monster effect, you inflict 600 damage to your opponent. And if you do, all monsters your opponent controls lose 600 attack, so it makes it even harder for them to just attack over your monsters. Then the benefit you do, once they do eventually try to out the Bramble Rose, you have the ability that during the main phase as a quick effect, you tribute it to special summon a Black Rose Dragon from the extra deck, and it's treated as a synchro summon. Then you get to banish this card from the grave to special summon a level 4 or lower plant tuner from the graveyard. So again, just literally recycle back your resources to then go again. Speaking of the Mac Daddy core card of the deck, 2 Black Rose Dragon. You could very easily play 3 if you wanted to. The reason I don't play 3 on this one is because I did like the option of playing the 1 Cully Belt, because if I didn't want to destroy the entire field, because maybe I haven't got the protection set up in place with the Rage Rose Witch and the Black Garden, or the Black Rose Garden, sorry, I could go for Cully Belt and just deal with 1 card rather than having to worry about the entire field going. 1 Black Rose Moonlight Dragon, and then 2 Rage Rose Witch. So this one, plant monster you control cannot be destroyed by card effect, which is why the combo off and the balance with the balance with Black Rose Garden, turning everything into plants, and then Black Rose Dragon destroying all of your cards except plants, because you'll have Rage Rose Witch on the field, means that everything stays of your monster side and all your spells and traps go. You then burn your opponent for 2400 because the Black Rose Garden would have then been sent via Black Rose, and then kind of build on from there. Got the 1 Circle of the Fairies. This is completely optional, but 0 points, generic rank 7, level 7. And then during the main phase, you get to normal summon an insect or plant in addition to your normal summon offset. So the idea is you just get another plant to the field, which can be really useful. FA Dawn Dragster, 20 points, slightly expensive, but you do need a way to be able to negate spells and traps in this deck, and this is one of the best ways to do it. Crystal Wing, your Mac Daddy Negator. So this with Revolution Synchron could be very, very helpful, especially if you do have that combo with Rage Rose Witch plus Black Rose Dragon, and you Black Rose destroy the entire field, but you can't push for game for one way or another. You just go Revolution Synchron, bring it back, and then Synchro into a Crystal Wing. One Ruddy Rose Dragon, and then the final two, as I chuck it aside, Garden Rose Maiden. One you actually want to Synchro Summon, the other one you'll send from the extra deck to the graveyard to use its graveyard effect to target a Rose Dragon monster or a Dragon Synchro in your graveyard and special summon it. So keep in mind, Bramble Rose Dragon comes back, you contribute off, you go into Black Rose Dragon, and you're just completely clearing the field off again. So that's it for the entire main deck and the extra deck. Now to show you the side deck. Now most Genesys side decks are pretty straightforward. If you have more points to play, some people do decide to put some points in the side deck. So what is pretty generic for a side deck in Genesys is playing 3 Kaijus. Like Lunalights are quite strong in this particular format, so you need a way to deal with Liger Dancer. You don't have to play Gamma Seal. Like you can play any other Kaiju you choose because they're all 0 points, which is really helpful. 3 Skullmeister, this is like the 0 cost hand trap, but when you're already playing a card like Skullmeister and then you're already playing cards like DD Crow, you've got good effectiveness against the graveyard, which is the one thing that Black Rose don't naturally have, because Black Rose can clear a field, they just can't deal with the graveyard, so it's kind of okay having 6 ways to do so, but this can be one of the cards you upgrade if you wanted to go for something like a Draw and Lot Bird. Going second, Dark Ruler No More, plus the ability to get Black Rose is going to be a complete field clear, and then you can back it up with some of the following cards. Now, an option that I want to consider, and I thought I had 3 copies of it, and I couldn't find my other 2 copies, is Iron Thunder, which is a counter trap card that when a spell, trap, or monster effect is activated, you negate it, and then you destroy all cards in the same column. Instead of that, I decided to go with Gravity Collapse. So you activate this by sending a face-up Synchro monster you control to the grave. When your opponent summons a monster, you negate the summon, and if you do destroy that card, your opponent cannot summon a monster until the end phase of this turn. So it technically is a bit of a turn skip, but the idea is that you're going to have Synchro monsters you're going to want to send. It's 0 cost, wildly enough, and if your opponent does not expect it and they get hit with it, they're going to be like, oh, damn. And then the final card is 3 Lost Wind. This can very easily be the Iron Thunder, and then what you would have is you would have 6 go second cards, so 3 Dark Rulers, 3 Gammon Seals. You'd have 6 go first cards in the form of Gravity Collapse and then Iron Thunder. And then you'd have another space for, because you'd play that instead of Lost Wind, and then you'd have 3 generic hand traps of your choosing, which is the most effective in the environment. So that's pretty much it. Like I said at the start of the video, this total comes up to 86 points, which gives you 14 points to play with. As I mentioned, if I could find the space to cut 1 point, I would probably then upgrade the Skullmeisters to 3 DD Crows. Sorry, DD Crows, I keep saying DD Crows, but 3 Draw and Lot Birds. You could arguably put in 2 Draw and Lot Birds, which is absolutely fine as well. But yeah, that kind of comes down to your preference, what you want to go with, what you want to chase, and how you want to do it. Anyway, that is it for the entire profile. If you do have any questions at all, by all means, please put in the comments down below. I'm more than happy to answer them for you. Now, the next up on the Genesys list, I believe, is going to be Skull Servant. I want to try and hold that until Halloween, but I'm quite happy to get that one up for you guys. I think that Skull Servant could be really, really kind of cool in the Genesys format for the pure fact that it can just be a very, very aggressive style deck, which is really cool. And it has the ability to open up some point spaces to utilize stuff like super polymerization and everything else in between. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, share. Till next time, as absolutely always, stay safe and, of course, happy dueling.